glad you could get here. See, now we come up. It's so good to see you, Colia, and very, very pleasure to welcome you to the program. It really is. And we got a lot to talk about Haiti and so forth. And in the audience, welcome very, very much to Conversations. We've got two guests here, as you can see. And on my far left is Gregory Perry. He's with the December 12th movement, and particularly the Human Rights Division of the December 12th movement. That resonates with me, with Viola Plummer, and I think of Councilman Barron is involved in that, and other good people. And it's a really stalwart movement, and congratulations on the Human Rights Division of that, and welcome very much,
Thank you.
Gregory. On my immediate left is a dear friend and veteran of Conversations in Manhattan Network, and that's Colia Clark. And she's got a resume that would, in a sense of human rights and justice, that would, if you realized it in full measure, would knock your socks off, as they say. She's been a civil rights activist seemingly forever. She knew and worked with virtually everybody in that realm, not the least of which was a mutual friend. We had Stokely Carmichael, or Kwame Ture. And, but she's been involved recently, and we're going to talk a good deal in this hour program, and she's here involved with the International Commission of Inquiry on Haiti. And she's been there recently, and she's also involved with a Guadalupe Haiti Tour, USA. And those are our guests, and we're going to be talking about the Isle of Hispaniola, or Haiti, and other events, other matters. But lady, gentlemen, welcome very much to Conversations.
Thank you.
Maybe you could kick it off, Colia, okay? The International Commission of Inquiry on Haiti. Maybe you could share us a little bit what that is, what's it involved with, why was it called, what are the issues involved, if you would.
Well, the International Commission of Inquiry on Haiti is an outgrowth of 3 conferences that were held in Haiti across the last 5 years. Conferences that involved often 12, 13 nations, mostly nations of the Western Hemisphere. The primary nations being Brazil, the United States, Mexico, Ecuador, Venezuela, Martinique, Guadeloupe, and this year also Uruguay.
So
Uruguay tends not to be the British, the English-speaking sector of the Caribbean.
Right. Okay.
For some reason, some odd reason, I'm not clear why. But these nations have been very concerned about what's happening in Haiti, and generally about what's happening in all of Central and South America and the Caribbean.
Okay.
This year, in January and February, we had Guadeloupe lead out a major revolt, workers' strike that involved 100,000 Guadeloupans in a nation of 400,000.
Wow.
And they stayed out 44 days and got all of their 22 the primary demands met with France. Guadeloupe's a colony. So 22 primary demands have been met. And
that's
they have
a good beat, brother. That's a good ringtone beat, yeah.
Another set of demands that they are still working on. Then Martinique followed Guadeloupe.
Okay.
And it also stayed out of 40-some days.
Yeah.
And it also got all of its 40-some demands immediately met by France. So there is a revolution going on among these nations that have been coming frequently to meet around issues of the Caribbean and Central and South America.
Very good.
And an involvement of the United States of America. I've been to 2 conferences, the one in December and, of course, the Inquiry on Haiti.
And this all follows on the events in Haiti with Dr. Aristide and so forth has been going on over a longer period of time, all of which spells out, in a certain sense, large elements of what would be seen as unjust ways of organizing human society.
Well, there's no question about it. Actually, the Haiti has been going on a lot longer than that, but
Yeah.
We're going to focus on the recent events. We could go back to Aristide, but we could go back to pre-Papa Doc of
Baby Doc.
Dubaye 1 and Dubaye 2.
Yes, right. Yeah. And if we could, because this is on Christopher Columbus Week. Yesterday was Christopher Columbus Day, which is seen in varying ways by various people. This is in the wake of the European invasion of the New World in a very real sense. If we want to go back to 1492,
well, we can go back
and and then if we could go back further, but that's what I'm saying. It's a seamless web of development.
We're talking about the new invasion.
Okay,
the new invasion is the invasion of that place that Columbus stopped at. We call today Haiti.
He did stop there on the first voyage.
That's
he did.
Right.
He landed at San Salvador.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
that's
so,
about the size of Manhattan.
Right.
Christopher Columbus Day is not as big as it once was.
Well,
Because,
you know, it's
it
very
came out under quite a bit protest a couple of years ago.
Oh,
so.
it did. In 19, the 500th anniversary, it was huge. But at the turn of the century, 19th century, it was a huge holiday, huge celebration. It's interesting the way things change, and
well,
and
less and less,
so-
Christopher, because indigenous people have signaled to us all that we need to come closer into them and appreciate the genocide that has happened here.
I think it might have been one of the worst ever. I don't know, the Mongol hordes did some pretty interesting things down in Babylon and so forth. There's been some awful, the tigers ran blood, you know, it was really horrible. But the genocide delivered down upon the indigenous people of the New World is perhaps one of the most horrendous
It
ever.
actually set in place a chain reaction that then wiped out the indigenous populations of a number of countries and then brought in Africans. Millions and millions of Africans.
150
Slaves,
million
yeah.
dead alone in Africa.
Well,
Set off the slave trade, yeah.
And the destruction and devolution and destruction of Africa began as well.
A lot of that had to do with smallpox.
India, Malaysia.
And it's still going on.
And it's still going on. So
these are wars.
yeah,
So
and these
Haiti-
things, the point we're trying to make is everything's sort of interrelated in a way, and we need some change.
Yeah,
and that's
right,
what this
right.
inquiry is concerned
the
about in the
inquiry is saying,
contemporary.
let us connect the dots of history.
Okay, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of it. We
but
could
okay.
start with American Haiti, 1915,
Okay.
bring it into the 20th century.
Okay.
Haiti got its independence from France, the signed legal document, 1804.
That
The
goes
US
back even
invades-
further, yeah.
we could go back to
We-
1791 when Haiti launched its
First
revolution.
time there was a real democracy proclaimed was on the Isle of Haiti. It
That's
seems to me
right.
in the Americas. Is that not
It's
correct?
the first democracy in the Western
Isn't that
world.
something worth taking note of?
Through
We need to
military
take
war?
note of it
Yeah.
because most people think America is
Spell
the
it
first.
out a little bit for us.
America
You know.
is the first republic, of course, in the Western world. But America is a republic not only with the oppression of its indigenous population, but a republic with 980,000 slaves.
Right, you are.
And that also includes the oppression of the Chinese people who are also here and beginning to have a number that we can count.
It was awful.
It also
yeah.
includes the oppression of many European groups. So that if you look at the signers of the Declaration of Independence, you're shocked to hear one of them say that we must remind everyone that this is a nation for the British. So it was a British victory, a British nation, a British culture, which of course is eroded across time for whatever the reasons may be. So the oppression included the Scots, the Welsh, the Irish, and other Europeans as well. But the major oppressions, the deadly oppressions, is the murder and destruction of the indigenous people and the enslavement of African prisoners of war.
And the remnants of that the memory of that has to be writ large, and the fact that it's still with us in many aspects of the way society is still organized with lack of elemental justice is front and center in the consciousness of a lot of people.
And we pinpoint that in Haiti. We could clearly see the effects of it in Haiti today.
Okay, yeah. You're involved with the thing in Haiti. He was at what? He was there. You were part of that group as well. We didn't have it.
Let me talk about who was there. Nancy Dawson, professor of Africanist Studies from Kentucky, was with us.
Okay.
Amadi Ajamu. Did I get that name right?
Yes, you did.
Ajamu.
Okay, yeah.
From December 12th movement, and
Okay.
of course Gregory Perry from December 12th movement, and myself.
Okay.
We had people who fell out at the last minute, but we're the four people that were the American delegates to sit on the International Commission of Inquiry.
Good for you both. Good. Congratulations.
And so we were 4 of 14 present. Uruguay actually called for the Nobel Prize winner of Uruguay called for this commission. Anyway, I never keep his name straight. Can you get his name right?
Brother
I
from
can't
Uruguay?
keep his name straight. Yeah,
Well,
from
everybody
Uruguay.
should be named Smith. Then you can
Yeah,
keep track
right.
of
It'd
it.
be
But
easy,
unfortunately, they
wouldn't
got all these strange names
Yeah,
creeping
Dodo
in
or
there.
something, but
Yeah.
anyway. But he could not make it.
Yeah.
So Uruguay, even though it has, it sits on the police force, that's UN police force. It is a member of that police force that's in Haiti. And I've come to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in 2004, Haiti's 200th anniversary.
Yeah.
The people of Haiti were prepared for a grand celebration of the 200th anniversary of its independence.
And pace-setting move toward democracy, out of which that revolution in Haiti was a precursor to what would be what was to come, perhaps if we get around to I mean,
Yeah.
they were a pioneer in
They're
terms
pioneer
of
because
politically.
they ended slavery immediately.
Right,
Ended slavery
okay,
for everybody,
yeah.
but they went further.
Mhm.
In the Constitution of 1801,
Mhm.
Haiti makes it clear that
Mhm.
all freedom-loving people
Mhm.
are welcome in Haiti as citizens.
Okay.
And they said freedom-loving, which means that they looked not just at the Africans
Mhm.
who were enslaved, but at the indigenous people and at the Europeans and Asians also, who were being abused and mistreated throughout the Western world.
Right.
The indentured madness that was in and all.
Yeah.
All of this was a part of what Haiti grasped.
Yeah.
Haiti came and fought in the American Revolution. They fought right here.
Did they? I
And
didn't
helped,
realize they
and
were
helped the
Asian.
Bolivarian Revolution.
That's right. And they would
Okay.
also,
Right.
well, they housed the
thousands.
Yeah, what's his name?
Bolivar?
Bolivar.
Yeah.
Boulevard and the other brother. There's two of them.
Yeah.
But no, they've always
San
been
Martin?
involved in,
Mm.
Haiti, when Haiti Revolution kicked off in 1791, it kicked off revolution in Guadeloupe, Martinique, Grenada, and Jamaica.
The Jamaica's English. The others, I hear French. French
right.
was French. They had different
All of the
colonial
French
masters
It
that
also
were.
kicked off revolution in what we know today as the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And it kicked off revolution in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So all of these little small islands
Mhm.
began to rally around this revolt that's happening in Haiti against the French.
Mhm.
And not only rally, began to send in their people.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that we'll see Jamaica playing a major role
Right.
in Haiti when we get Boukman. Boukman will come in and use traditional African religions influences in terms of organizing and rallying the people.
Okay.
So we'll see these influences of these others as they get off on this journey toward revolution. And they were inspired, I'm sure, about events that were happening in the United States as well. I'm not going to say that America did not inspire. It had to have inspired because this was a revolutionary, kind of a revolutionary whirlwind that was taking place. France was talking about, now beginning to talk revolution. Everybody's talking revolution.
Yeah.
And Haiti and America, of course, moved forward with America becoming a republic, Haiti a republic, and Haiti a republic that ends slavery.
Yeah.
But
Right.
also because of that.
Way the
that's
heck
why I
I-
said we could start the trouble there
Right.
because she enslaved, because she defeats not only Napoleon's army, which no European armies
Spanish.
could do,
Mhm.
defeats the Spanish.
Mhm.
She runs out the British,
Mhm.
who also
Right.
think that they'll come and take her on, and she
Three
also
forces.
sets back the United
Three
States.
countries.
Four. The
Four
U.S. as well.
in US.
Everybody tried to take
And
on
abolish slavery
and that been about
that early. Okay. That's
So-
way ahead of the curve.
all that nobody's
And
not even a thought yet. in
Yeah,
terms
yeah.
of
And actually, if we
nation.
want to talk about guerrilla warfare,
Yes, sir.
you really have to study what happened in Haiti.
Is that a fact?
And,
Yeah, guerrilla warfare was
it had to have been tremendous
really okay.
because these brothers and
Are you
sisters,
talking back the early days in the 19th century?
1791.
1791, there was a guerrilla warfare.
I think the revolt itself is guerrilla warfare.
Okay.
Remember, we have a heavy French population occupying Haiti.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
And
New
so-
Orleans too.
Yeah,
that was down
New
with
Orleans,
French.
yeah, this is all of
Louisiana.
Southern.
Yeah.
You said something the
Yeah.
other night that I
Mm.
thought, well, what was you? That was you the other night talking about the defeat of Napoleon by Haiti,
Mhm.
and that being for us in the United States the beginning of another set of madness, and that Napoleon is forced to sell.
Louisiana.
Louisiana Purchase,
territory,
which
yeah,
we
right.
didn't learn that part in elementary.
No, we didn't learn that. It was all Jefferson. Yeah.
There was nothing about Haiti in any of my
In
schools
fact,
Mississippi.
France owned a third of this country.
Yes,
That's-
sir.
at least
Yes,
a third.
sir. All
Yeah.
that. That was the best deal.
Louisiana and part of
I don't know.
West Territory
Right.
as
That
well.
was,
Yeah, I don't know which is
Very
a better
good
deal.
deal.
Louisiana Purchase or the Alaska was also a good deal for $7 million. That was pretty good. Oh no, I guess Manhattan Island they let go for
Manhattan
some
Island was a
deeds.
pretty good deal. But-
So
but-
that
Well, that's the
it's
story.
it's a story of
That's the
European overlordship and
Imperialism.
imperialism
Yeah.
that is the
And Haiti is
characteristic of the
still-
modern
and
era.
Haiti is
That
story.
we're all in opposition to, yeah.
Now
And the
this-
world is in opposition, and there may be signs that there are major changes coming that we're all in support
so
of.
the
Yeah.
study of Haiti and
You
the
need
history
to
of Haiti
hear
is
you. Here you go.
But I-
Yeah,
the
okay.
history of Haiti is a great story and a tragic story
Okay.
at the same time.
Spell it out a little. Great
You know,
in
as we said, they freed themselves. I mean, a tremendous victory, a guerrilla warfare. I mean, that I would say any military scholar should study
uh-huh.
because I mean, these people, our brothers and sisters over there, have rags on. Some of them have shoes, probably. Most of them don't have shoes. And
You talk.
you got to take. Where do they get their guns from?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess you have to take your enemy's guns, to the great extent, and
Right.
go up in the hills.
Yeah.
All kind of tactics.
Here, this is the UN's report. Look at that.
Let me see now.
No shoes. I don't know
Okay.
what the audience
Now
can see
you were talking historical there, I
Right.
thought,
Go on, let him go
but
on.
then
I
you
was
went
talking-
in the
He
present.
meant no shoes.
And
Well, I'm
they
still talking back.
Yeah,
I'm still-
and they got it down
Yeah.
there, and the conditions in Haiti are so horrendous.
They are.
You were talking to me, the people down there, some of them are so poor, so many, they make mud pies or
Well,
mud
I don't know
cookies.
anything about the mud pies and the mud cookies.
They do.
I don't think
I
I'm
did.
lucky
I
enough
did
to
hear
get it.
that.
I've heard it, but I didn't see
I
it.
didn't see it.
Oh, you did not see.
I
Well, I'm
saw-
glad you
I'm
didn't
scared,
see
I'm
it.
scared not to
Well,
talk
let's
about
hold
that, which
this
I
up.
didn't.
This is a picture.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll give them
The
time to
United
come in.
Nations,
on it.
This
They
is
might
the
be.
United Nations document.
Okay.
We met with the United Nations Command at
Mhm.
Haiti, and I want to come back to 1804 and 2004. To invade Haiti on 2004 was itself a violent provocation for the Haitian
Sovereign
people.
country.
Mhm.
That was one problem.
Yeah.
The other problem is when the UN came in, it set up its command at Levees, which is where the independence for Haiti was signed in 1804. What is the message?
Insult.
You know,
Okay.
what is the message? The
Okay.
Haitians tell me, right? I said they're provoking
Thank you
us.
for showing that. Yeah.
Now the Haitians responded in many ways to
Mhm.
the UN invasion. The UN invasion came, and we need to talk about that. Just
Please,
a second.
I want to
The
understand that.
invasion came as a result of about 100,000 people, a food riot, a hunger riot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not a cafeteria riot like we used to have in the schools in the good old days. When I was
Food
back
fight.
in college.
Yeah, we used to have that. That
But
was
people
just
were fighting
hijinks.
for
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
So the UN invaded, and you know the first thing they did was took the folks' goats. So today what the Haitians will do, they do bah, bah, bah,
Ah.
and the UN troops arrest them because they're saying you took our goats away.
Now help me out here. What date are you talking?
2004.
2004 was a major time. The UN peacekeepers.
The United Nations
I know you're in
Peacekeeping
favor of
force
them leaving
immediately.
because they're doing more damage than good, apparently.
They came to do
Make
damage.
it clear, because a lot of
Well, I
people,
wanna make it
including
clear that
myself.
people understand. Let's start with the name of the agency.
Okay,
The
good.
UN troops on the ground are called MINISTUH. MINISTHUH.
But these are UN?
It's the United
UN.
Nations. So now, why not United Nations?
Okay.
Minister and Avenue triggers all kinds of stuff in the mind of those Africans who have gone through these years of oppression.
Okay.
You are back now to a colonial model.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of neo-colonial nonsense
It's not
going
even neo. This is
It's
a colonial,
okay.
classical colonial model.
Right.
I'm sitting at the United Nations headquarters. Unbelievable
Mm-hmm.
that I'm sitting here with 4 white males facing me. The general from Brazil, the person who heads up the it's a special group they call it. It's like a public relations unit.
Mm.
Who actually the general answers to.
Yeah.
And he is there from Brazil, and then you have a person from Chile, a general from Chile.
All European white.
All European white. And they all now, what's dangerous about this is that these are the colonies of the Balkanized nations,
Okay.
Portugal and Spain,
Okay.
that are now coming out of Central and South America.
Okay.
And so when Haitians talk about who they don't like and who they think that don't trust, they're talking about their neighbors, not the United States anymore.
Coming from which countries?
Coming
then?
from Brazil.
Colombia?
Coming from Argentina.
Brazil
Colombia
heads
is there,
the
but
minister.
Brazil heads it up. Argentina and Chile are the 2 other major forces.
That make up these forces of the UN that are
they're
there?
among the nations now, because remember many nations make up, and I need to
Yeah.
I just want to keep clarifying.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So the command post is there. The commanders, the 4 men that we have meeting with us, are in fact whites.
Mm-hmm.
And a nation that for the first time you really see black. Because Africans in the U.S., we've lost our black. We've been all milked up. But in Haiti, you ain't no milk, baby. This is the real thing.
All right,
You
yeah.
see all colors, but mostly you see this nice, beautiful black skin.
Right, you are. Yeah,
But
right.
a beautiful, just a warm people
Yeah.
who, despite all of the forces of genocide being forced upon them,
Yeah.
are always warm and receptive and bright and in good spirit. Bad
Okay.
feet or not,
Right.
hungry or not.
Right.
The Haitians tend to explode upon you.
Really, yeah.
But just a love
Very,
that you
very-
can't. It's
a
Great
very
human
resilient,
warmth.
it comes out,
Human
it
warmth,
comes out
yeah.
on the inside. It's
Yeah.
a love that that is indescribable. You can't really describe the
But they've
horror.
had great political difficulty, and the UN is there because of supposed anarchy, or why is they?
UN
why,
is there because
fill me in.
supposedly gangs were in the streets killing everybody up.
Were they?
Which is not true.
The
No,
people
it's not
say,
true.
The people, now I've had two different reports.
Okay.
I had a report for a brother who works for the news agency of the United Nations, who told me that gangs had shot him in quote, in his butt.
Uh-huh.
They shot him in my butt, he says, and I'm
Mhm.
quoting him, because I was working for some Creoles,
Right.
and they thought that the Creoles were abusing the local people.
Did he show you the scar like Forrest
No,
Gump
I
showed?
did not ask him to bend over
President-
and pull down anything, Harold.
No, no.
I will assume he was shot in his butt. He works
Yeah, yeah.
now for $30,000 with the United Nations, so he's doing good.
Uh-huh.
Works with their news agency. But a very a wonderful, warm young man. There was some violence. It was food violence. It's hungry people.
Yes, indeed. You're
And there
going to
was
get
some food,
that.
and they were
Yeah.
trying to get it. These USA agencies from all over the world bring food in. It doesn't get to the people.
Where does it go?
The people say that the middle people, the group that we know as Creoles, and that's not all Creoles, as middle people, Haitians,
Yeah.
take everything that comes in the door.
It's sort of like
And
the
they get
rich
what-
milking the
what's left
poor.
over.
It's like the rich and powerful, well-connected taking advantage of the least advantaged among us.
That's right. But
That's
it's like
a model that-
more like a subcontractor for these agencies
Right.
on the outside.
That's a that's something that in varying degrees characterizes the world.
Yeah, in
I
this
mean,
world,
it's
Haiti represents
moderated,
this world.
but that's the thing. This is the day Michael Moore's movie's coming out. Capitalism, a love story. That's going to have a major effect
I gotta
because
see
he's
it.
saying in the United States, it's a sidebar, but it does relate. 95% of the capital assets of the United States is owned by the upper 1%, more than 95% of the population. It's not anything like, in economic terms, a democracy. Let's stop saying we have a democracy.
Well, we
It's
never
a
did.
plutocracy.
This is a republic to plutocracy.
Sarah Flounders down at the Center for International
Yeah,
Action
yeah,
Center tells me that the concentration of wealth in the United States, now we're talking about Haiti, and we want to get back to that, is more concentrated than it was in Versailles, 1789 France. The concentration of the wealth. The system in place is not adequate to what the future requires by any measure or means. What's going on in Haiti may be a precursor or part of a movement to bring about a qualitative major transformation in terms of the way this planet, including that country, is going to be organized, and repercussions of that would even come to this country. I would hope Michael Moore's movie gets through and has such an incredible, a strong effect upon this particular society, because the idea of the powerful and the rich lording it over and milking and taking advantage of the least advantaged among us is endemic to the whole planet.
Let me just say that MINISTAR stands for the United Nations Mission for the Stabilization of Haiti.
Okay, yeah.
Now, supposedly approximately $500 million is going to keep those MINISTAR troops. $600 million to keep them in Haiti. If the United Nations wanted to stabilize Haiti, why couldn't they use that money to build schools, medical institutions, to change there's virtually no sanitation in the areas that I went. Garbage is piled everywhere.
Okay.
I mean, these are some of
Right.
the things that the people need.
Mm.
You could build roads and thereby create jobs for people. That's a lot of money. $500, $600 million is a lot of money.
That's what Ev
So
Dirksen would call real
how do
money.
you stabilize a country by pointing guns at them? We're touring Set
Talk
Des
about
Soleil.
you. You tell me you
We're-
went there, yeah.
We're touring Set Des Soleil, talking to people, and went to a women's refuge center.
Okay.
And at some point, 2 UN vehicles passed through. The first vehicle, it was a soldier it was like a flatbed truck, a soldier standing on top and pointing his big automatic weapon at the people, terrorizing. That's terrorism.
Yes, it is.
Nothing
And
was going on.
absolutely,
Nothing was
absolutely.
going on.
50
I was
caliber,
amazed
probably,
to
yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
I was
right.
amazed to see it. Nothing's going on. He's there pointing this big gun.
And he represents
That's
the
terrorism.
UN force?
Minister.
Ministar.
Minister. The United Nations Mission for the Stabilization of Haiti. That's not stabilization.
Well, it's
Stabilization
for the
is
forces
clinic.
that
Well,
come
right.
in, yeah.
It's stabilization for multinational corporations, you know, Clinton went down there, and I'm sure he's bringing these multinational corporations in to usurp the cheap labor. And Haiti, we know, still has gold and other minerals.
They're cutting down all the trees, I understand.
So they're stabilizing the country, yes, but they're stabilizing. They're stabilizing the country
for the rich.
For the rich.
Well, it's always been that way, isn't it? It's always been the rich lorded over the poor.
So President Clinton is not a friend of Haiti.
He is not a friend.
No,
the UN is not. No, you're saying
not only that. The UN is not.
I want to
a friend.
understand that because
I see it, Harold,
those fellows that we
to save the United Nations from itself. That's one.
Okay.
We need transparency from the United Nations, and this is happening in Haiti, and I'm a witness to Haiti.
Okay.
I'm a witness to Haiti.
Okay.
Gregory is witness to Haiti. If this is happening in Haiti, then I have to raise questions about the other places that the UN has been in the world. I also have to raise questions, and I think we all need to raise questions about the role of the United Nations today. Has it been colonized by America?
Absolutely.
You mean the United Nations itself?
That's
United
right.
Nations
It's a branch of the. Is it a branch of the State Department or something? American State Department is what.
We need to raise questions about. We need transparency around Haiti, but we need transparency about the UN itself, and so we really do need to question the UN and put the UN on the docket as one of the #1 issues, because it's supposed to be a world peacekeeping force.
Right.
An example of how bad it's got. I'm sitting with the general from the UN, the commanding general, and the person who is a public relations person, and I'm questioning, this why I have these people, and they tell me they have a double command. There's a military, and you look at all the military nations, not one black nation among them. It's about 30 of them, and not one black nation, not one Caribbean nation among them, and you're stationed in Haiti. Then you look at the police.
Oh, you mean this is the actual people?
This is the way the UN is organized.
Yeah.
You have the UN at the top. You got the military. Then the second tier, I'm gonna call it a tier. I'm sure they don't call it a tier. Second level.
Yeah.
You have the military police.
Uh-huh.
Now the military police, and let me grab something for you here.
Oh,
the
yeah.
military police, of course, are the people of the world. This is the people of color. This is black people, brown people, red people, yellow people. I got so much stuff.
Anybody what ain't white.
Anybody that's not white. Thank you. That may be Switzerland.
No, that racism
Switzerland's
is
in that group. But now, this is the chief of the military police. His powers as well. Brothers from Guinea.
He looks white.
Guinea.
He's
Doesn't
not
he look
white.
He's white.
Beautiful white man. Here, put it up.
He looks like
he's from Guinea. That's where Stokely was.
He's not in command.
Okay.
Not in command.
He's just one of the
He's
troops.
A
policeman, but at the lower level.
Resume, all of this background he has, but you're sitting facing 4 white generals, and they in command. He is in the second tier.
And
so there's a military. He's beneath the military in the police.
Is that characteristic of peacekeeping of the United Nations all over the world?
We need to ask this question.
Yeah, those are questions.
Well, that thing you were at my house with, and we talked to the generals from Pakistan. They're in the peacekeeping part of the UN. They represent the peacekeeping part of the UN. So we were talking to them the other night. They seem to make some sense and everything, but I don't understand it well enough. What is the role?
Well, one of the things that I want to talk about, let me finish up this.
Handsome guy,
yeah. I think we need to be clear about the UN.
Yeah.
When I've raised some questions, and they have this beautiful construction that they're doing some good work, but it's these, I like that word B-I-D. It's people from the outside. People from the outside doing the work.
Okay.
B-I-D. They bid on contracts.
What does the BID stand for?
Well, you said they're doing some good work, but I really didn't see enough work to say that they're doing.
No. This could be good work if it's what they have in there. Let's open it up and let's see what they say they've done.
I should open this up?
Now, I understand it doesn't stretch too far.
You want me to open this?
You can open it up.
I saw one very short road, and it didn't look like they were moving
That's
too
all right,
but
this is what they send the world now.
Right, this is what they're sending out.
The world. Now, my question was,
why
were the Haitians all walking around in barefoot? I don't see the Haitians doing the work. All the pictures of the workers, you will note, are white. So if you go through this thing and you look at it, the workers themselves are all white. You'll see these nice white workers and soldiers standing about doing this white stuff.
Meanwhile, Haitians need jobs.
Haiti, less than 30% of the workforce is working.
That's a metaphor for the world, don't you think?
Yeah, look at this, Harold. So I asked questions about it. I said, what a wonderful project. Where are the Haitian engineers and where are the Haitian contractors?
I think the statistic is that there are 300,000 Haitians actually working in the country. Of course, we know there are a lot of vendors and so forth and so on, but that's the
But they
statistic,
don't know.
300,000.
So the point you're making is that the
well, what happens is that when I raised the question, and I said, why do you have these pictures? Why didn't you use it? He said, well, we have Haitians working too. I said, where are the pictures?
Where are they?
Well, they're out in the corridor. You don't expect me to put your picture on my living room wall, or no, on my bedroom wall, do you? I took the insult.
Well,
but you know, the statement coming from the United Nations that he has a private, that the UN headquarters was his private place. And you don't expect me to put your picture on my bedroom wall. I told him, I want my picture on your bedroom wall. I have to insist upon it.
Right.
You think it's racial?
It's
class?
It's a classical model of racism,
and
colonization,
class.
racism, and class.
And all right,
The Haitians are really a class issue.
How much of the world is
be
characterized?
self-conscious.
How can we characterize? What of the world? How much of the world is classified to the degree that Haiti can be obviously seen, and it's good to call that attention to it because that's a huge issue.
Well, we look at America.
But how much of the
world? We got a president. We talk about Harvard and Yale and what these people. It's all over the world. That is obviously.
Yes.
But Haiti, which have Harvard and Yale and all of these graduates, don't have them in Haiti. Haiti in this country, loaded with educated Haitians.
They're here.
Why not invite them home and give them jobs? They fled here. The recent.
They're probably better
refugees,
economic opportunity here.
And they send home money all the time. People tell me about my son.
Haiti had such a illustrious history so early, and why is it it's falling on such? What's the
all
problem?
Surrounding Haiti, even now, are countries economically controlled by the same powers that Haiti defeated.
That's correct.
So
it's
you
colonial.
liberated yourself,
yeah.
But now you're surrounded by these same people. It's just a matter of time before they wear you down. You can't export, import as you would like to do, and they're continually setting up situations that you have to deal with.
In a certain sense, the Holocaust goes on.
Well, in Holocaust
of the least advantaged people within this continent are being lorded over by the colonizers.
Haitians are capable of taking care of themselves.
Yeah, okay.
UN General says to me, the Commanding General.
Yes, sir.
But it was the same thing in Zimbabwe.
I was thinking of Mugabe,
It's the same thing. They tried to squeeze that country economically
well, I've noticed
then blame it on Mugabe. He's the problem.
Send him bad food, everything.
Right. He was a hero in 1980 and so forth, and there was something, if I'm not mistaken, help me, Mugabe, he was just up in Tripoli, and they had almost half of the presidents, he and Bashir also from Sudan, another place. And they're trying to get together, the African Union is informed, and they're trying to formulate an entity called the United States of Africa. Right. I think it would be a wonderful thing if they could put that together. It's like the Articles of Confederation state. They're writing the documents and putting it together. Right. But half the presidents were up there. President Wadia of Senegal is fully in support of it, and some other people too. And they came. But Mugabe was there, and 83% of the land was owned by white settlers. And the revolution goes on, and I think it still was up until a year or two ago, 83% of the land was run and owned by white settler peoples who were there under a thing. So they're saying, what is there trying to? And so he tried to do a thing where they could put in real agricultural reform to change things, and then the Europeans say, well, they can't do it. They don't know how to do it. They're inept. They can't do it. The poor things.
The Africans are the one that always.
They do.
And then they blame
the land.
Yeah, and
so
they
we know
say,
that they can
let
do
us
it.
come in there and run those things. No, but you understand what I'm saying. It's an attitude that is a huge problem in terms of the world, in terms of the way the aristos, they used to call them in Versailles, view the masses of the people of the world.
Well, they have to stay on top. They have to stay the aristos. So therefore, if you have a Zimbabwe that's showing the type of example that Zimbabwe is showing, that you're taking back your economy, you're taking back your land, and the countries surrounding you, like South Africa, they want their land back. Namibia wants their land back. So Zimbabwe had to be crushed, but they weren't successful in crushing Zimbabwe.
What do you think of the idea of a United States of Africa, like a European Union, an African Union? They get together their own military force in their own interest, in the interest of that, because that continent has been milked by the Europeans.
still doing
And the colonialists are still doing it. And in their own, they got a lot of
And
problems.
China is there, Korea is there. We got new players now.
Yeah. Anyway, so but we're talking about Haiti, and Haiti in a
the
certain.
United States of
Okay.
Africa.
Okay. What about the idea? What do you think?
It's more than an excellent idea
Mhm.
because the African Union has 6 regions,
Mm-hmm.
and the 6th region of the African Union is the Western Hemisphere, where Africa's babies
Africans
are.
in
Oh, you
the
count that
diaspora.
part?
Stretching from Canada all the way to the tip of South
Africans
America.
in
Darling,
diaspora.
we're all.
Haiti is now a part
Of
of
the 6 regions.
the 6th
That's right.
region
Is it really?
of Africa.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well,
We
then
have
they
an
might.
ambassador from
They might be able.
Ethiopia
Yeah.
who's
Okay.
in Washington.
Okay, they might be able to start getting some political and otherwise support from an entity coming out of Africa that
This is
could
what
be
we're
supporting
working- we're working
their
for
brother.
that. We're
But I
working
do
for that.
underscore a fact. The fact is, every human being is an
He's
African.
an African. That's true. That's true. We got to get them though to respect Africans.
Yeah,
Say,
all of
I'm
them.
mama, baby. I want my respect.
yeah.
Now, so
And
back-
it's Columbus Week this week,
yeah, but Columbus,
and so
Week,
that
and
was a
we're
big
looking
change
at
and
We're looking at
transformation.
all of the madness kicked off by Columbus in the Western world. 29% of the, 29 million indigenous people resided in what we know as Central America when Columbus arrived.
That many, it was that high. That was
that high.
well, you had
The African Holocaust was the biggest Holocaust of all time. The one thing it did do was spread Africans all around the world, and we have an opportunity to come together and push those countries that we reside in to change the conditions in Haiti. And
Well, you
we
mean
can do that.
it put
But 29 million, I want to
all
get
over the-
29 million, 1501, 29 million, 1601, less than a million.
I think it was largely
Central and
smallpox.
South America,
Yeah.
South America, the estimates run from 92 to 116 million or thereabout. 100 years later, 1501. 100 years later, less than 8% living.
It was
These
large.
little islands that we're talking about.
Oh,
they
and
just
you're
wiped-
talking
they're
on the
decimated.
islands.
So the
But you're-
decimation, but the
yeah.
decimation of Haiti.
It was the whole hemisphere.
Yeah, the decimation of 45 million, depending on who you want to look at, for this for North America.
Yeah.
Wiped to nothing. But the and continued wiping. We watched the Navajo killed by Reagan in our time, and I'll never forgive him for it. You can go wherever you want to go, but he won't have my forgiveness. I hope there's a God somewhere that does forgiveness. But it ain't
Don't
mine.
forget PAPCO.
Oh yeah, I mean, just and what's happening right now with the Mohawk up in
Yes.
Canada. No.
Yes.
We have to all
not
come
over.
together as one.
They got bulldozers up there on our Indian burial ground to make another golf course for the
Yes,
plutocrats, and
yes.
they're getting up in
You
arms.
need a parking lot.
Yeah.
You come in a black neighborhood, you build your parking lot. You
Yeah.
fill all the green street. in
Dock
Chicago.
your way.
You need a golf course. You go in the black community and the Asian community, red community.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the USA, it happens all the time.
I'm
Yeah.
not a Haitian, but
Right.
I know what's in the interest of Haitians is
Okay.
in my interest. They're black people. I'm black.
Yeah.
For all I know, some of my ancestors may have gone to Haiti, so I could be
You look
Haitian
like
too.
them boys.
But black people, we are all one people, and
Yeah,
we
we are
have
one
to
people.
we
We're
have
off
to
the
come
same boat.
together, and we really have to stop what's going on in Haiti. Enough is enough. We got to bring it to an
Well,
end.
we got to
Hey,
stop
is
that
Haiti-
vote on October the 15th. It's coming up.
Okay,
Right.
talk to
United
it. There's a
Nations
vote
on
on the
October the 15th, the renewal
This
of the
program
UN
is gonna-
contract.
This program was aired on the 13th, a couple days before the vote. What can be done? Talk about it.
I want
Make
to
it
talk
close.
about it.
Talk about the
Everybody in
October
United
15th
States needs
vote.
to get to a phone, call their congressman, call the senators, call President Obama, who is a major player now in terms of the negative piece with Project Hope in Haiti, and call the General Secretary of the United Nations and say, we do not want to vote. To worry every African embassy, worry every European embassy, worry everybody you can, worry especially Central and South American embassies, just worry them to death.
Yeah, but
And
what
we
are
will
you
not
talking
have,
about?
We want nobody to, not one single vote for the United Nations troops to remain in Haiti, where they're overseeing a genocide against
we
the
don't
people.
want to renew
My
that.
Lord, that's so strong.
I want to make it strong.
Okay.
Because the last thing I saw, Harold, on the way out, and I want to cry right now, because it'll always hunt me. A little girl ran
Wait,
up to the car door.
yeah.
I'm on my way out of Haiti to an
Right.
airport.
All right.
My second trip to Haiti.
Okay.
What we there? 6 days? About 6 days.
Yeah.
So the little girl runs up to the car door. Just as we get ready to get on the main road going toward the airport, which is all these little narrow roads, and she puts her fingers up, and I looked at the ash around her eyes. I looked at the, what my mama called the snot, the dry snot all around her mouth. I'm looking in the eyes of her big, huge eyes, the bulging eyes of a starving child.
Oh, God,
A starving child.
Yeah.
And I can't get the coins out because the brother's got to go through the light. But I saw that every day I was there. I'm looking at women laying in the streets begging, please, just give me a piece of bread. Give me something.
Right.
You know, reaching out for whatever they can get. We saw it all day long. We were housed at the Plaza Hotel across from Toussaint Louverture Square.
Yeah.
Loaded all night long, all day long with human beings, either trying to vend or something. Remember, you make $1.67 a day if you're working. Not all Haitians, because there's some unions where they pay wages that are different. But the people that work in the Project Hope Zone can only get $1.67 a day, cannot organize a union, are not allowed to have any kind of benefits, cannot get child care. People that work in the Project Hope Zone that Bill Clinton is pushing.
That's right. Okay. I wanted you to spell that out. They just had a bigger thing with him now. Project Hope.
Project Hope.
That's part of the scene down there.
It's a so-called free trade zone.
Okay.
You cannot organize in a free trade zone.
Okay.
You cannot demand anything in the free trade zone.
Okay.
So unions are not able to. The people are not able to do anything. Women are regularly sexually abused, are forced to perform sexual favors. Now, not only the UN, but anybody that's in any of these companies in the Project Hope Zone. One of the UN representatives was said to have said, I didn't get it straight out of his mouth, that Haiti was like having your way with a woman.
Haiti was like having your way with a woman.
And I thought, what is it? We're screaming about the Sri Lanka rapes, the Senegal rapes, the rapes of these women.
Right.
Men from
it happens all in Congo.
Just
it happens in
Haiti now.
Yeah, I know it happens in Kashmir regularly.
Rape in Haiti now.
Yeah.
So President Clinton went down to have his way.
Yeah. Please, with Haiti.
That's right.
Women who are having babies are asking them, please, can you get that man from Sri Lanka to take care of the child at least? And the UN is saying we have no power, and they don't. Because under the UN, the way in which the UN is organized, troops that come from these various nations can only be disciplined by their home nation.
Yeah.
So you come in Haiti and do what you will. The U.S. men are not only...
But we have to challenge that.
We're going to challenge that. Have your way with a woman.
That's right.
Hey, I grew up in Mississippi. Nobody had no way then, and they ain't going to have no way now.
The UN is violating their own charter, and they have to be challenged on that legally.
So you got two things, Hope and UN, both of which you have a really strong plea to not go along with what's being proposed by these two, agencies of... These are people who are trying to help the UN peacekeeping and peace building and...
What Bill Clinton is there for is the Haitian Hemispheric Opportunity through Partnership Encouragement, HOPE Act of 2006, and HOPE 2 Act of 2008. All right?
Yeah, something just happened now in the last couple of weeks or something.
What they have done is Brazil. This is in the last couple of weeks. What Brazil is doing now with the United States is they are beginning to bring in these Brazilian industries. And you're bringing these little Brazilian companies, and the Haitians will be working for these Brazilian companies. 2 weeks before they announced that they would be bringing in these companies, to show you what the subcontractors, in this case, the illegal president, because actually the president of Haiti was kidnapped by the United States of America. Aristide.
Where is he now?
I believe
South Africa.
Is he in South Africa now?
And what did the people? You get a chance to talk to people there at all? What do they think of him?
Everybody wants Aristide back. Everybody, you don't talk with them. They tell you they want Aristide back. They tell you I want Aristide back.
Okay. Yeah.
And
we smuggled him out of the country and everything.
We didn't smuggle him
Amy
out.
went with him on that trip. Yeah. What is it telling us? What is it? I'm trying to get the pattern here. What is it? Is it colonialism? Is it? And the UN has been corrupted. It can't act in the interest of the people anywhere. Is that what you're saying?
It's a dying capitalism struggling for its last breath.
Dying capital. All right, it may be.
We know the United States is on a very big slide right now.
I beg your pardon?
We know that the United States is on a very big slide right now.
Well, they sure want to.
The economy is not doing well, and they have to continually struggle for new markets, cheap labor, minerals. They're afraid of what China's doing, getting mineral rights in Africa. And so it's capitalism. They have to struggle for cheap labor.
Let's talk for just a minute on this. Mr. Moore has a major film. It's going to be out in theaters all over the country now, and it's a broadband. I mean a broad counterblast. to capitalism. He said capitalism a love story, and he's saying it doesn't work. It's all in the hands of a few people. He's saying that. But the question I have is, and I saw Mr. Who. So what is it? We have Castro. We have Chavez. We have Muammar Gaddafi meeting with Chavez, a little bit of thing. But the big player, China, I saw Mr. Hu talking to the Chinese Communist, huge bureaucracy, a big hall, and he's saying, we represent socialism. So that's the thing that you got as a counterweight to the capitalists, and it's socialism, and they think that they're standing for Karl Marx and the socialist critique of capitalism, which has been the critique that's been offered by some of the people on the progressive side. And it looks terribly in China to me like capitalism. They got gated communities. They got gated communities. They got big SUVs they drive around in. It's just like capitalism. Where is the model that is an alternative to the thing we're limping along with called capitalism that doesn't work for the least of us? Michael Moore says in the United States of America, 95% of the assets are owned by the upper 1% of the population.
The Chinese don't operate like the United States. Chinese troops are in China. They are not in people's countries.
No, domestically.
They have also agreed to commit troops to Haiti.
Yeah, and they're also...
There's a big change going on in the world, and we need to look at the influence.
Right now, though, Chinese
they're
troops
not there
are
yet,
in
thank God.
China.
But the answer is, okay, so it doesn't work. Capital doesn't work. It's in its last throes. What's the alternative? That's the thing that's put up to us. What's the alternative? Why the problem? Why can't we have a tremendous
local people?
The alternative is for people to socialize.
Yes, not just socialize.
So you believe in socialism?
How else can we live if we not? How can I live with you trying to capitalize on me?
Well, no. What I'm trying to say,
if we're going to try to be social, that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you. I believe that in a level.
That makes sense.
But what is there a model anywhere? Does any country work where you don't have a plutocratic through running everything?
Right now, I think the question
where is there a model?
Cannot really be answered.
Okay.
As long as we live in a sea of capitalism, it is going to be impossible to develop an island of socialism or communism, African socialism, African communalism, who's ever socialism, communalism, that really won't be always under threat. The only way we can get rid of this madness is that the African Union idea, for example, the sixth region, the concept that we're working on is bringing the Western Hemisphere together as one people, so that we all are in this discourse. We have to begin to talk about world revolt in another way.
Okay.
Not shooting at me, shooting.
No. At the level of ideas.
But the level of ideas and at the level of movement.
But you're not going to get that model from China. China's sold out.
Libya's got a good model. Got a good model.
Libya may be the only country in the world that has
given us options, though.
Yeah, it does give us a great option.
China is giving Africans options and other countries options because now they don't have to deal with the Europeans that come with these stringent rules.
Yeah, you're right. The thing on
the
Iran
IMF and the World Bank, then you can't grow your rice anymore, and you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
China doesn't come with those types
of
rules.
That's right. And they may have a counterweight to what they want to do with Iran.
Now these European capitalist countries have to look, they're getting
China,
a fair play, so,
do you think of China?
We don't need you anymore.
Right now, China's got $3 trillion, we owe China $3 trillion.
They got all our T-bills.
$3 trillion.
The United States.
But you in December 12th are in the progressive movement. Do you think of China as a progressive country?
I do.
You do think China,
I don't think of Mao's China anymore. It's not Mao's China anymore.
Or it's not Karl Marx.
But it's certainly
not. It's building capital formation. It's got gated communities.
It's not what Russia was. No, it's not.
Well,
I don't think we've ever seen China go into anybody's country militarily and try to destabilize and capitalize and so forth. So we can't put China in that boat.
You do not want to put him in. Okay, that's interesting.
I want to say something.
Mao now, we need Mao more than ever, people would say. Yeah.
I was in Algeria, 2005, 2006, one of those years, to speak for the parliament on the question of devastation and devolution of Africa. And everybody was angry with China. And I said, what are they angry with China about? After all, Algeria is a communist country. China is a communist country. What's the anger? And I began to question. And people said, they're building a factory, 500 workers, and every single one is a Chinese, not one Algerian. So China is coming out, but it's bringing Chinese out. It's helping to develop this here and there. But China has a model that's Chinese only. So we have to question what's happening. I know China has millions of people and billions of people, excuse me, that she has to look at. But yes, China does come out. It's certainly not a Western imperialism style, but it is a new style, and they're more and more involved in Africa.
Very
more and more
involved.
involved.
A lot of those countries in Africa that are free now, they got their weapons from China.
They sure did.
So,
and training. I mean, they got weapons, they got training.
training.
China built the East Africa railroads. I mean, we can look at a lot that China has done that's been super positive.
Yeah.
But with this new China, that was Mao's China. There is a new China on the rise, and we need to. I'm not going to dump China because China has been such an influence and such a wonderful revolutionary spirit for those of us who needed hope. Real hope, not project hope. Real hope. We needed that. We needed to see that. Du Bois said, turn to China. Dr. Du Bois was clear.
He did.
Want a new direction, turn to China. But Mao's China has been beaten out. We've got a new China, and we need to study this new China to see what road it's taking.
It's interesting for me to hear he has faith in China as a socialist model, because it just looks like capitalism to me.
Well, that's a new model. I mean, remember now, we need to look at the two periods, the period of Mao and this new period that we have now.
Well, okay, that's interesting for me to consider. I like that. I mean, that's interesting.
Even now, at its worst, is not what capitalism is at its best. So let's be real clear that China is not that.
Well, that's an interesting take.
And that's why these nations
I heard you say I sort of got lost in the thing, but you said Libya has a good model. I think Libya may be ahead of the curve. I think that might be. They've got.
I thought that Nyerere had a good model in Tanzania.
Kwame Nkrumah.
Kwame Nkrumah's model was there, but it didn't get a chance.
It was
to get
too early.
Really developed. But Nyerere had for the African people on the African continent an excellent model, because all models may not be the same. A model that works in China may not work very well in, let's say, Bolivia. So I think each nation has to judge it, and Nyerere says that too. That you have to look at your own people and your own history and culture as you begin to develop.
We only got a few minutes left in the ring. Are you optimistic for the human prospect?
I tell you, I'm as optimistic as our willingness to get up off of our backsides and get at the job of changing the world we live in. We cannot sit around waiting for somebody to give us something.
Where are the models that we support? I mean, where are they? That's what I'm wondering.
I support the Zimbabwean model.
Zimbabwe.
Take back your land.
Mugabe.
Take back your economy.
Mugabe. You support Mugabe.
Despite the
Mugabe is my president.
Bashir in Sudan, would you support? I mean, what's going on in Darfur? Okay.
We don't really know. I don't really know what's going on in Darfur.
Okay. But the fact that they are, and Muammar Gaddafi is somebody really to watch, and you got Iran and everything, and he's got a model that is ahead of the curve. They have participatory democracy politically, and if you own a business there, the people who are part of the business have to own the capital assets of the business, rather than they won't. You can start a business, but you can't hire anybody. So that's a way to get rid of wage slavers, to get rid of wages, which sounds absurd, but it really is. They have to be owners of the business. And Lord Keynes says they're going to be supplanting labor in terms of distributing income to the people. We've got to have an alternative way of distributing buying power to the people to clear what the market can produce. It's got inherent contradictions. Libya might be one, but that they're uniting Africa, they're serious on that. President Wade is behind that, and others are, and they want to have their own. They want to, and I'm really happy to hear the 6th Force. I didn't realize that. That's really interesting. That's really interesting.
And we're biting into it, brother. We're biting it 100%.
They do not recognize that African Union. Mr. Gaddafi's ahead of that now, and Mr. Ali Traik, who's General Secretary at the UN now, is his right-hand man and everything. He's been all over Africa. And they do not recognize the International Criminal Court. It's European. So they're going to have a criminal court by which
that they're trying as Africa.
Yeah, well,
why would you recognize it when you got Haiti down here, which the UN has invaded?
Yeah. Okay. Now that
is committing a genocide, everything from rape to murder and killing, protecting the development of a new economy that has nothing to do with the Haitian people.
Right.
The Haitian people become slave wage workers.
The International Criminal Court didn't go after President Bush for what he did.
Of course, they're not going to go after him.
Thank you. Yeah, they wouldn't because he's white. I know.
So why
his skin is white.
Would we support that?
And he's also part of the aristos.
And you can't afford to support Zimbabwe because if you support Zimbabwe or Palestine, then America may have to deal with some rethinking of where we stand.
Yeah,
on somebody else's land.
Yeah, it bothers
me. These all contradictions that we're scared to wrestle with because the terrorists that's in, because they may shoot us tonight, Harold.
Well, it all comes down to the fact that we're at a time of a qualitative change. James Joyce said...
Change is coming. It's inevitable.
James Joyce said, history is a nightmare from which I'm attempting to awaken. I believe the weapon systems that exist, particularly germ things that exist in the arsenals of the aristos of the current de jour, are species lethal? I think they have the means of abolishing or obliterating the species with weapons after 200,000 years of evolution. We also have a technologically augmented capability to provide for everybody in a trans-scarcity reality, including the ecology, that our systems we've inherited are out of date, and we need a qualitative transformation the future requires, and we don't have it. We don't have it. I don't know where it is.
We'll get it.
You understand? But these stories, and it bothers me very much, Colia, because you're talking about the UN being a force that is not worthy of support. I would like to hold out some support for the UN.
Look what happened today with Afghanistan. The highest-ranking American official working for the United Nations in Afghanistan was just put out. Because he said that he was critical of the stages. Well, it says, and at critical stages in the process, he wrote, he blocked me and other UNAMA professional staff from taking effective action that might have limited the fraud or enabled the Afghan electoral institutions to address it more effectively.
That's in Afghanistan? Is that over the election?
He was the highest-ranking UN official there.
Well,
and because he came out and told the truth about the elections, they put him out.
Well, they had an election dispute with God. Here's a picture that Colia wanted.
Everybody needs to read
before you show those pictures, I want to also...
We're just running right out of
the New York Times today.
Yeah, but let me piggyback on that.
What is this picture? Explain it. It's on the camera now.
This picture that you see, Harold, is from the University of Western Kentucky, where in May or June, it's on the paper there, the police invaded the campus, and if you look through the inside, you find more and more of these pictures, and this is just a little girl here with a cop with his foot in her neck and a gun pointed at her head. Can you believe
that's an image.
So
that's an iconic.
I just want to say that Haiti is the USA.
Yeah, Haiti's that little girl.
Really
and the masses of the people of the world are like that little girl.
And more and more, as we invade Haiti with the balkanized nations, as we invade other places in the world, as we raise issues, that's why I'm scared to talk about Sudan, even though I see there's mass murder going on, but I'd like to look at why the murder.
Yeah.
As we look at all these places around the world, Afghanistan, Iran, Palestine, Iraq, Honduras, where Black Honduras Hospital was closed down and the staff ran away, built by the Black Hondurans who are being killed on the coast of Honduras as you and I speak. They're been killed for years now. I knew 10 years ago about the killing. Brazil talking about coming to Haiti when Brazil is one of the most human rights violation states on planet Earth, where we have a mass